Okay, so in this video I'm going to introduce a skate sharpening technique that I've learned that allows you to consistently sharpen skates very well, which is actually defined by having a skate edge that's square and has both the inside and the outside edges equally sharp. So the tools I use for this would be a BHC 1000 gauge, a skate sharpening square, and then the last one would be a 3-pod adjustment skate holder jig. So before I actually sharpen skates, I'm going to just talk about each one of these tools. So now the BHC 1000 gauge, what it does is it allows me to know where the center of this stone is. And once a week what you do is you dress the stone to 3/8 of an inch and you would just check to make sure that your gauge is calibrated properly. And the way you do that, you have two balls out here and you take these balls and you rest them right up against the stone until it comes right in there, and then you would adjust your stone. And if you look down on my gauge, you'll see it's right at 0. And you would go ahead and spin this and you adjust this several times until that comes out to 0. That right there is telling me that this gauge knows exactly where the center radius of the cutting stone is. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put my skate on the skate holder and show you how then I can adjust the skate holder to know that I'll be sharpening my edge with the hollow being right in the middle of the skate blade. So now I'm going to go ahead and take the blade here. This is a tripod or a 3-point skate holder jig. So the two knobs in the front are going to raise and lower the skate blade relative to the cutting wheel. And the knob in the back is going to adjust the angle of the tack, which we'll talk about in a second. So I take my skate, I put it on my holder, I put the jig holder bar down, and I want to have kind of equal distance from the front of the skate to the front of the holder, and I'm going to pull that up so this is right in the middle of the skate blade. I'm then going to take my gauge and I'm going to put it up next to my cutting wheel, and I'm going to slide my skate in, and I'm going to go ahead and adjust this so that my blade is going to be reading 0. And you can see that I can raise it or I can lower it using those front knobs of the skate jig. And you see I'll check it here, I'm just slightly off, or it looks pretty good there. I'll check it one more time. And now I know that this blade is going to touch right in the center of the radius of this cutting stone. Once I've done that, I'll go ahead and make 8 passes, and then I'll use the square. So I've finished my 8 passes. What I need to now do is put a square on this, and that's going to tell me whether I was coming at that stone exactly parallel or at an aggressive attack coming down at the stone or coming up at the stone. So when I grab my square now, I'll put it on my blade. And I'll take a look here. So what this is showing me, if you look at the red bar against the black square, it's showing me that the left side actually has to come down slightly to make that parallel. What I'm trying to do is have the red bar parallel to this line right here. So I don't know if you can see that or not. The left side, and that's how you want to read this, is the left side. I see one line, about 1 1/4 lines, and over here on the right I see a full 2 lines. So I need to come down about 1 line, and 1 line is equivalent to 4 notches on the back knob of the jig. So what I'm going to do is I'll take this off, I'll come over here to my jig and I'll move it down, and there's an arrow, so to the right is down. I'll come 4 notches. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I'll put my skate onto the jig. Now very important is I have to come back with my calibrating gauge here and adjust it again. So you'll notice when I come in and you look down on this gauge, I'm about a 5 or a 4 negative. So I have to go ahead and raise this back up And this is going to now assure me that the radius is going to be right in the center of my skate blade. So I'll go ahead now and just do 3 passes. So I've just finished those 3 passes. I'll take it off my holder and I'll check it with the square one more time. So now I put the square back on and you can see that I see 2 marks over here on the left side and 2 marks on the right side. You can see the red bar is parallel to the big line on the black square. And so my square, my blade is now square with the hollow exactly in the center. And the neat thing about this is I can just use my square in one spot. It doesn't matter, I can move it to the front. And you'll see I'll get the same reading. Or it can be in the middle, it doesn't matter. So you only have to put the square on in one spot and check. But you'll see right there, I'm very happy with that being square and I know that my hollow is dead center. So when I take my square off, I can feel my edges and they feel equally sharp both inside and outside. And this is the beauty of the system, is I have a square edge with the hollow exactly in the middle and I have equal sharpness on my inside and outside edge. So what I do now, just to end the whole technique and sharpening process, is I take a stone and I just lightly run it along the edge just to make sure I have a smooth edge without any burrs on it. And then I'll put it back on the skate holder and I'll do one very light pass to end with. This is sort of a polishing pass. And I'll just check it one last time. It just gives a little bit more sharpness to that edge. And a nice smooth with nothing hanging on the front or the back of the edge. So that's the process. The next skate should be very simple because I've got the jig set up for this Bauer skate. And so I should have to do very little adjustments. But each time I put it on the holder, I'll use the gauge here and check to make sure that I'm at 0. That's the most important step. Okay, so hopefully that's helped you understand how to use the gauge, the 3 tripod skate holder, and the square together to give you a edge that is square, has the hollow dead center, and has equally sharp inside and outside edges.